Okay, so a couple weeks ago on NXT, Rhyno just gored the bejesus out of Finn Balor. And I was like, man, Rhino's got such a devastating gore. And I was like, probably has one of the most devastating spears I think I've ever really truly recall. And I was like, well, I wonder what it would be like if the master of the gore were to take on Roman Reigns, who uses a spear. Initially, I was like, well, who else really used a spear effectively as a finisher? And I was like, we have Edge. And I was like, Edge, Rhyno, they had matches, which normally had really weird double spear spots. Probably didn't help Edge's career for longevity's sake. And I was like, Edge, Roman Reigns doesn't seem like that great of a matchup. Now, Edge, Seth Rollins, two definite opportunists. That's definitely a future match right there. So I was like, Rhyno, Roman Reigns. To me, that works, and it's all ours. So that works out pretty well. And then I have to do kind of like an ECW versus WWE. Now, I do these fights differently. I've got strength, speed, endurance, toughness, striking, grappling. Normally I do submissions on high flying, but not for these two guys. We're not seeing tremendous amounts of headlocks or, I can't remember that one time Rhyno went for a 450. I don't recall any of those. And then I go into the psychology side of it. So I've got over with the crowd, ring psychology, and mic work. With these same scenarios apply. If it's 5-4 person with 5 more than likely would be the one who would win. So let's get right into this. Strength. Rhyno, man beast, big, powerful individual. And I was like, I don't recall him taking on any really, really large individuals. Roman Reigns has done a pretty good job when it's come to doing a small amount of manhandling at the Big Show. Whether it's hitting Samoan drops. So he's done some pretty impressive moves to a man who's very, very large in the way of the Big Show. Speed. Roman Reigns is very, very quick. If anything, that's what really helps him. He's not a super, super big man, but he's highly athletic. Endurance. This is how well do they do in a longer fight. And ironically, I was trying to think back if Rhyno had really, really long one-on-one matches. He never really did. Roman Reigns actually has had a couple of matches that have gone a pretty decent distance that have been a one-on-one encounter. Now for toughness, this is Rhyno. I started watching Rhyno gore his way into a shopping cart. Plus, surviving ECW makes you tough. Surviving Attitude Era makes you definitely tough. Striking. This is how it comes to their punches and the kicks. In this case, also would also include spears and gores. That's Rhyno. Rhyno, ridiculously stiff punches, nice short arm clotheslines. It's like T-Rex arms. Great kicks, and his gore is just ridiculous. When he hits somebody, you get that feeling that they have just been split in twain. Grappling. This is not a game for Rhyno. You're probably thinking, but with Roman Reigns, you do have moves like the Samoan drop. He's began to add a powerbomb kind of into his arsenal. But he still doesn't do a lot in the way of actual grappling. There's really no power slams. He's kind of in a tilt-a-whirl slam a little bit. But Rhyno, a lot more suplexes. And one of the nice things about his work in ECW, he spent some time with Taz. So we learned a lot of suplexes. And he's got a great, sick high angle spine buster when they let him use it. So they are entirely typed. It's 3-3. So now we're going into the psychology, a bit more of the booking as well. So over with the crowd. If it's a hardcore crowd, it's Rhyno. If it's a casual crowd, it's Roman Reigns. Thinking this would happen in a WWE style arena, I'm going to give over the crowd to Roman Reigns. I think he gets a slightly better pop than what you're getting for something like Rhyno. If it was happening at the Full Sail Arena, Rhyno is going to get it, and then Roman Reigns is going to have a really solid pop afterwards. Ring psychology. I'm going to give this one to Rhyno. A lot of that's because he is just someone who just seeds intensity. When you see him in the match, in the ring, he'll take a couple of big shots, and you'll see him kind of, he does a good job where he's getting hurt, he kind of covers up, he kind of shrinks back a little bit. When he's on the aggressive, he's larger, he's explosive, and it works well. So he does a really great job when it comes to going with the ebb and flow of the match. More so than Roman Reigns, that's primarily because Reigns hasn't had a tremendous amount of time when it comes to, really developing who he is when it comes to storytelling aspect of in-ring competition. So we're tied up. Now it comes down to that all-important mic work. Who's the person when these two guys have a promo who's really going to draw you in more? Normally better mic work tends to mean this is a person who the voice in the back are going to be a little bit more apt to push. And ironically, Roman Reigns has really come into a really good, solid spot right now. Looking at what they've done so far this year in the way of promos, Rhyno has pretty much had the I'm here for the NXT title. Baron Corbin, you're a big, strong dude. I'm a big, strong dude. It's banging out in the ring. So I like the intensity. I like the very directness of his promos. If I'm comparing this with Michael we see from Roman Reigns currently, Reigns, after WrestleMania, has done a fantastic job. So I have to give mic work the edge to Roman Reigns. So we were tied up when it came to the physical attributes and the overall in-ring performance. Looking at the way it is with the way that they're booked and the way that they connect with the crowd on a psychological standpoint, I do think Roman Reigns has an edge. He's starting to really come into his own voice, which is helping him a lot with his mic. He's gotten a lot better. I think if these two were to face off now, I think Rhyno, it's going to be a really unique challenge. He's going to do a really solid match. But at the end of the day, Roman is the person who will spear the master of the gore. 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 So now that Roman Reigns has defeated someone else who uses a spear, it almost comes down to who's next for Roman Reigns to take on.